When did that start?
You know, I'm not going to get into it.
I need to hear about aliens.
I know you already know all this, Joe.
Hold on a second.
It's always.
But I want to ask you this because I don't know.
Oh, yeah, right. We're in contact with aliens.
Like what kind of shit?
Here's what's happening, because it's not just one group of aliens.
What's the different groups?
The big five.
Okay, tell me what's going on.
Let me begin. This is really, I'm telling you, Joe, this is a real deal.
We're listening to you.
Well, first off, elves is the main group.
Okay.
And they call them the elves. It's clockwork elves.
I don't think you're allowed to say that anymore.
There are bad things that look like elves that have horns when they show you who they really are.
Damn.
They're bad aliens.
I'm with you.
AI is alien.
Like a robot?
Yeah, they're like robots coming to kill you.
Jesus Christ.
The chimeras are alien.
And there's a hive mind sort of thinking to a lot of this.
They want the organs. I swear on my kids, I told you the truth about that.
I believe you. I believe you.
They're coming after everybody.
Jeez.
It's a breakaway civilization, dude. We don't know what they got. Joe, they're control freaks.
Well, everybody's
That's why I'm so glad you're in the fight now. These guys are on stuff that like nobody even knows.
What do you think they're on?
Stuff they've been given.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
You know, there's like armed guys with machine guns.
That is a group of people that were obsessed with combat.
About the most fearless killers there are.
Do you think that's from their heritage of war?
I mean, it's just like, it's mental illness, man.
Yep. That's a fact.
This death, this destruction.
Global news impacts us.
We have to change the way we live. This is why we need independent media.
Cheers and salutations. I hope all of you are having a happy Monday morning. Start your morning right and righteously angry with Hard Lens Media every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, and Kick. However, apologies. This is a recording. There won't be a Monday show. Obviously, there's a recording right now, and there will not be a Tuesday show tomorrow. So much apologies, but however, I have a lot of work I have to take care of, both personal and professional. And nonetheless, I hope all of you are doing well. So if you're going to work, be safe. If you're coming home from work, be safe. It's your day off. Dance off, pants off to you. Please be safe, whatever you're doing this Monday morning. And I hope all of you had a wonderful, safe weekend. Boy, oh boy, 2023. A lot of things did not appear on my bingo card. From progressives being primaried to the American dream becoming just so expensive now that it's becoming just that, a dream, a myth, a legend. Who knows? I'll let you decide which of the three it will be. And then, of course, surprise, surprise, on the weekend, Alex Jones has been reinstated by Elon Musk on X, formerly known as Twitter. 2023, you wanted to end off on a bang. Okay, here you go. 2024. Grab the popcorn, folks. We're in for a bumpy ride. But nonetheless, thank you so much for joining Hard Lens Media. So this will be a shorter than normal show, but nonetheless, the show goes on because without all of you, our viewers and subscribers, this show would not exist. So, with that being said, if you want to join our Discord or check out our Patreon page, we would greatly appreciate your entire support. The full show, live show, will be back Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central, so stay tuned. And yes, follow us on YouTube. Be sure to double check and triple check you're still subscribed to us. Follow us on Rockfin, subscribe to us on Rockfin, subscribe to us on Rumble, and follow us on Kick. Keep on doing the great work. But without further ado, since I'm in charge of the ones and twos, let's get started with our first segment of the day before we get to the spicy meatball story. And that is, so here we go. So, the American dream is getting more expensive, about $3.5 million. So, marriage, kids, home, healthcare, cars, education. I am so sorry. That is not happening. You know that scene from the movies where like the characters realize that they're trying to get to the goal, but here comes a roadblock. Yeah, that ain't happening. That's not happening at all. So I want to pull up this video here. Shout out to Case Study QB, who's wrongly being censored, and that was done by the previous administrators on X. So Elon, look, I know you helped out Donald Trump get back his account. I know you helped out Alex Jones get back his account. Maybe, I don't know, you could kind of sort of maybe make sure that whatever's the previous Twitter administration did to Case Study QB's Twitter account, you can, do an Uno reverse on that too. But nonetheless, since I'm in charge of the ones and twos, let's pull up this video from Case Study QB. Try not to cry. Living the American dream. You'll own nothing and be happy.
The number that Investopedia came up with, $3.4 million. Caleb Silver, the editor-in-chief of Investopedia, joins me now. Wow. I wouldn't have thought that. You and I have been doing this for a long time. $3.4 million. Let's talk about how you got to that number.
Yeah, the dream is different for everybody, but if you put those reasonable expectations.
The dream, the reality. The reality is different for everybody. We are the richest country in the world, and we could bail out the banks and corporations that were responsible for the 2008 economic collapse. We live in a country in which both parties, both Democrat and Republicans, are given financial packages, donations, great benefits from Wall Street, big bankers, hedge fund managers, the top 1%. Lobby groups, the military-industrial complex, big pharma, the prison-industrial complex, all of them buy our politicians. Check out the Twitter account Unusual Whales, and whether you are a Democratic voter or a Republican voter, you'll be surprised on who donates to the oh-so-fantastic people in Washington, D.C., both Democrat and Republican. That's right, Team Red and Team Blue. Neither party is a saint. And no matter who wins the White House, you do realize that Goldman Sachs has a seat at the table. Not you. George Carlin is doing that musical in the sky. I told you so. It's one big club, and you ain't in it. So, the reality is this. Owning a home. Good luck. Marriage? I will reserve my opinions on that institution for another day. But hey, if you find love in this crazy world, go for it. Go for it, because who knows how long we have left. Having a kid, cars, a summer home, vacation. You asking a little bit too much there, buddy. The reality is you got Americans working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, and it's still not enough.
In having a couple of kids, health insurance, a little retirement money, marrying somebody off, childbirth, a funeral, you get to that number with today's dollars. Now, you could do this a lot cheaper. You can do this a lot more expensive, but these are reasonable expectations of what a family might want. And when you put it all together, all these costs, $3.4 million. The problem, Ali, is that lifetime earnings, given today's median income, is about $2.3 million. We're about $1 million away from what this dream could cost today.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about how families are doing right now. Let's talk about the reality.
The reality is that they're doing terrible. All right. Thank you, BSDNC, for this wonderful, wonderful uplifting report.
Of where we are. Current household median income is $74,580. Let's put that one up there. The average total household debt is $103,000. Average credit card debt per borrower is about $6,500, and average 401k savings are $112,000.
Yeah, we're a lot lower than we need to be if we are going for that dream. When you talk,
this doesn't look good. This doesn't bode well for any of us.
Talk about household debt. We're talking about mortgage debt. We're talking about car debt and also credit card debt. But we know credit card debt is at a record high here because of those high APRs, because of high interest rates. And then the savings that the
reason why credit card debt is rising up is because when this also fantastic big brain idea of lockdowns took place, our wonderful politicians said, oh, no, you can't leave the house, but you still have to pay the bills. You can't leave the house and go to work, but you still have to get food. You can't leave the house because, oh no, it'll upset everything. But you still have to pay for X, Y, and Z. And now credit card debt is the highest it's ever been because people couldn't go to work. Or either that, wages were cut. We were abandoned. What kind of world is this?
you need to fill that gap when you stop working and you want to retire. If you want to retire, if you can retire, we're just not even close to that yet.
What's the connection between the numbers you've got? Let's put up unemployment, for instance, over time. Unemployment is going down, wages are going up, people are feeling. This is a map that goes back to the recession of 2008 when you and I were working together, right? You saw unemployment go up, took a while to get it back down. By 2019, we were at an absolute low. That's COVID. and we're now back down to almost where we were in 2019. So we're at a very low place in unemployment. Means there's more competition for workers, which means wages are up, and they are up.
They are.
Yes, but there's a thing called inflation. Thanks, Bidenomics. You're doing great.
Up about 4% this year. That's great if you're making $250,000. If you're making $75,000 and you get a 4% raise, that doesn't feel that much. But this 3.7% unemployment, that's what the Federal Reserve considers full employment. This economy, the labor market is very strong right now, and there's still a lot of jobs out there, but people don't feel like they can get ahead. A lot of it has to do with the high cost of housing, and we know with mortgage rates what they are, with housing prices where they are, people just don't feel like they can.
Let's look at mortgage rates for a second, and let's discuss this, because this is a big deal. If you're locked into a mortgage, you have a 30-year fixed mortgage or 15-year fixed mortgage, and you got in at this kind of level. This is 2014, 3.5%, or even at this kind of level in 2016, which is roughly the same thing. Or right here, let's say you got a mortgage in 2020 or 2021, you were below 3% in some cases. This rising mortgage doesn't mean anything to you. You're trying to buy a house today, 7.5%.
Yeah, home affordability is at an all-time low. So younger people in particular feel discouraged. That promise, the so-called promise of the dream, which meant home ownership at one point in time, that's out of reach for a lot of people.
Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. How do you feel about the current economic situation, especially with everything that's being explained to us? Type 1 for, oh, it feels great. No worries whatsoever. I'm living my best life. Pie in the sky. No complaints, no worries. What do you mean? And type 2, Jesus Christ, I don't know how I'm going to make it. My friends, my family, even random people in the street that I don't know, I could see it. It's a struggle just to survive. The American dream, I'm sorry, it's not a dream anymore. We all woke up. We're all living it in the reality called neoliberalism. We just have to get by. What a nightmare. And see, the thing is, corporate media could have had numerous times if they wanted to do the right thing. But remember, I said corporate media, doing the right thing. Those are two things that will never mix together. They could have called out these politicians. We could have had media outlets and newspapers call out these politicians who were implementing these neoliberal policies. And who do you think did it? It's these politicians who've been in office for 30 plus years. It's these politicians from dynastic families that kept on implementing policies to benefit the top 1%. So if you're a diehard Republican voter or a diehard Democrat voter and you think your party cares about you, no. You're not their number one constituent. You don't donate the big bucks to them. You matter nothing to them. They don't like you. They don't think about you. They don't respect you.
You mentioned this 4%. Half of homeowners do have a mortgage under 5%.
Right.
They can't sell because they're not going to go out and
They can't sell to somebody because somebody who might really want their house is not taking an 8% mortgage.
No one's doing that. No one's doing that. You got to have money to do that. No.
Right. And they can't, the new homeowners, the would-be home buyers can't buy right now. They're discouraged by that. But look at education, too. The cost of a college education, we put it in our index for the cost of sending 2 kids just for 1 year. That's quite a bit of money. But if you're going to pay in-state college for 2 kids for 4 years, your numbers go up beyond 3.4 million. All these things cost money. We just figured used cars, too. 6 used cars over a lifetime, a couple of pets that live 15 years. When you add it all up, you get to a realistic number of $3.4-ish million. But again, it could be lower for some people and a lot higher for others.
Caleb, thank you as always.
You'll owe nothing and be happy.
Thank you.
Caleb Silver is the editor-in-chief of Investopedia and a great friend.
Yeah, great friend. No one cares. So, hey, how do we feel about this entire system just straining us? It's just killing us right now. Owning a home, owning anything right now. It's become impossible to hold on to things. And I said this on the show that the number one issue is going to be the economy. The number one issue for everyone to be concerned about in 2024 will be about how are people going to make ends meet. It's not going to be about social issues. It's not going to be about foreign issues. And yes, there are other key issues too. I get it. But the one thing, the only thing that's going to be mattering to people is the economy. Put everything aside, what generation you're part of, the color of your skin, who you worship, what you identify as. If you don't have money to make ends meet, all those things I mentioned before don't mean squat. Because people are trying to survive here, and it's still not enough. People are trying to do the right thing, and it's still not enough. So when you hear these media outlets maybe try and deflect or bring up something else, maybe they say, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, or we got to be focused on this issue. It's just a way for them to ignore the real elephant in the room. The U.S. economy is in free fall. And if it's not fixed soon, people are going to start raging out. You think things are bad now. If nothing changes, it's going to get progressively worse. So let's now push on now to our next segment of the day. So before we do, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that ring bell notification. That way, all you hip, cool cats, you beautiful, lovely people are made aware when we upload content upon our YouTube channel. And so today, let's get started with our next segment of the day, because I wasn't prepared for this. But I have to tell you, I'm only curious to see what this means for 2024. Progressives are facing growing primary threats over their stance on Gaza. Well, here we go. So, on the one hand, the squad has been consistent calling for a ceasefire, to which I have to say, okay, fine, great. However, this is the squad we're talking about, the same Democratic politicians who ran as progressive heavyweights, getting their name in 2018, not by themselves, by coming together, but by as an insult by Nancy Pelosi. That's the truth of it. And I, like probably many of you, had high hopes for the squad, that maybe this was a chance to reform the Democratic Party. Looking back at it now, what fools we were, but hey, we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, yours truly included. However, as the progressive politicians in Washington, D.C. continued to, I guess, become more intertwined with the Democratic machine, many of us came to the realization that this was one big waste of time. And of course, the big reveal was in 2020, or the aftermath of the 2020 election, when we asked for them to do a force to vote, or be part of March for Medicare for All, or for the 3-day General Strike Summit meeting, or anything else of that matter. What was the squad focused on? Identity politics, deplatforming people, censoring people, silencing people, not following through. And of course, there's sycophants like TYT or Sammy Boy Cedar saying, oh, we got to keep their powder dry. Oh, we can't do force to vote. We can't do that. We can't raise the ruckus. We can't shake the apple cart. Sorry, folks. The squad was never going to follow through. And now they're being primaried. Let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 for, you know what, they're being primaried, but they're the best we got. I'm going to help them all get reelected. Type 2, no, they gave us a middle finger. They're on their own. They're on their own. I'm tired. I'm not going to support the Democrats. Screw that. I don't care who they are. I'm not going to help them. I wonder how this will all turn out. So let's talk about it. Some of the houses, some of the house's most high-profile progressives are facing a growing primary threat next year over their position on the Israel-Hamas war. Several squad members, including Representative Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, have already gotten Democratic opponents for the next year as moderates in the party look to oust them over their outspoken views on Israel's counterstrikes in Gaza following the October 7th attacks carried out by Hamas. The primary challengers are a clear sign of the deepening rift within the Democratic Party over its support for Israel in the war, which is carrying out into its third month. How many people are now dying? How many civilians dead? Okay, squad. Hey, no. AOC. And the squad made their bed. They should lay in it. They were in a super fast rush to be triggered by Donald Trump and to be intertwined with the Democratic Party and listen to Mama Bear, Nancy Pelosi. And this is what happens. And of course, Fat Tony's going to weigh in. If the Justice Democrats start losing seats, that's a disaster for progressives, said Cenk Uygur, a left-wing media entrepreneur who's challenging President Joe Biden. Now, just reading this statement right here, there's so much to laugh at. First of all, Justice Democrats had to let go a lot of their staffers because people are no longer interested in the Justice Democrats. They are upset with the lack of follow through. And so, oh no, the donations are drying up. And then there's Cenk Uygur, the creator of the squad, or not the squad, but he was the one who gave a huge boost to the current members of the squad, interviewing these progressives. And what happened? Well, they no longer go on his show. And then finally, Cenk Uygur running for president in the Democratic Party. First of all, the DNC has rigged the primary in favor for Joe Biden, like they did in 2016 and in 2020. All right, it's a rigged game. The DNC has super delegates. The DNC gets to control all the levers, all the buttons, all the switches. It's downright pathetic. The game is rigged from the start. And then finally, Cenk, you're not a natural born U.S. citizen. That's one of the things you have to do to run as president. But however, it's just funny seeing this now. The 4 squad members currently facing the possibility of upsets have been among the most vocal within the Congressional Progressive Caucus, including Bush Bowman. We got Summer Lee, Ilhan Omar. Let's see. They also have been critical of the Biden administration's pro-Israel posture over the war and aspects of the Democratic Caucus response on Capitol Hill, where leading moderates have called for more support for the U.S.'s biggest ally in the Middle East. Progressives are bracing for hard-fought and expensive battles with credible opponents, as well as anticipating an onslaught of targeted attacks ahead of November. These are not normal challengers. These are people who are going to be powered by millions in lobbyist money, Uygur said. Maybe instead of getting involved in electoral politics, maybe you should have been focused more on Wolfpack to still keep on fighting for that, I don't know, that constitutional amendment to get money out of politics. Good luck. Good luck. So all these people who are running, Lee, Bowman, Bush, Ilhan Omar, all these people, when you become connected to the Democratic Party, you have to follow the machine. It was a bold plan to try and reform the Democrats. It was. But you can't fix something that's corrupt. I've mentioned this before on the show, but you just can't lay down, have the bear eat you, and then think that you're going to change the bear on the inside. No, the bear's going to crap you out. That's what's going to happen. And all these people, these progressives, these lawmakers, they're the ones that chose. They are the ones that chose to be with the Democrats. They should have ran as independents. They should have done the right thing and stood in solidarity with progressives, or either that, if they were truly sincere about trying to reform the Democratic Party, they should have been more outspoken, more aggressive. But instead, they fell in line. Does it come as a surprise to anyone that people are breaking away from the Democratic Party? To think, in 2016, Bernie Sanders built this huge progressive movement. So many people were there. And then when push came to shove, when it was finally to keep that political movement, that organization together, it slowly and eventually fell apart. And this is on those lawmakers. They're the ones that chose to disband. They're the ones that chose to fall in line with the Democratic Party. They're the ones that chose not to be consistent. So that's on them. And it's not my problem. With that being said, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's move on now to our final segment of the day. I know. But this one is the one you've all been waiting for. Let's talk about it. So something happened. On December 9th of 2023 at 10:48 a.m. with 47.3 million views and over 1,966,125 votes, Elon Musk on X, formerly known as Twitter, gave this question to the platform. Reinstate Alex Jones on this platform? How did the voting tally turn out? Well, at the end of the day, with the yes and no, no's at 29.9% and yes at 71%, the people made their voice heard. And so let's look at this polling right here. just to share with all of you wonderful people so you could see it firsthand. This is what took place. Here we are. Now, I want to be very clear on how I view this whole thing. I'm not a fan of Alex Jones. However, I'm against censorship and deplatforming. It doesn't work. All what you do is create a big echo chamber, and you put people in their safe spaces. I am in the firm belief in that if there's a show or something you don't like, then turn it off. Don't watch it. Ignore it. Make sure you do everything you can to make sure it doesn't show up on your timeline. This whole thing of cancel, censor is never the answer. And it should be noted that it wasn't too long ago when Elon Musk eventually reinstated Donald Trump's Twitter account. That's a thing that took place. And I was against the censorship of Alex Jones, and I was against the deplatforming of Donald Trump because we here at Hard Lens Media know all too well what it's like to be demonetized, censored, and shadow banned. I don't wish that on anyone. Now, I understand that there are many things that Alex Jones has said that might trigger people, that might get people upset, that might find him repulsive. Well, then you know what? I get it. But the whole idea of censor and deplatforming and removing opens up the Pandora's box of, well, then who else can we censor? Who else can we remove? Who else can we silence? And free speech is fundamentally important. Hardlands Media, we've been censored not once, but 8 times. And that's a nightmare of a situation that I don't wish on any content creators. And there are many colleagues of ours in independent media that have been hit hard, that have been gut checked by the censorship machine. And it's not right. Free speech is important. And I know that there are mean, evil, vile people out there. Well, perhaps this is the idealism that's still left in me. I believe in the fact that if there's such bad people out there, I have to believe that the world is filled up with more good people, people who bring in intelligent speech, compassionate speech, reasonable speech to outmaneuver, outflank, and, stand up to those people who spew out vile crap. And just so you all know, this has been happening long before any of us were born and will continue on long after all of us are passed away. But there's going to be people who you're going to run into who think differently than you. And you can actually have a reasonable conversation with them. And then you will run into people that are just really crazy and there ain't nothing you could do to really change their mind or be reasonable or meet them one-on-one. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to avoid them. But relying on the government or institutions to censor, silence, and suppress puts you on that chopping block as well. And there are many people who are still suffering censorship, demonetization, shadow banning on all the platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of them. So let's talk about it further. I want to pull up this article here from The Hill. Elon Musk restores Alex Jones' account after taking a poll of users. So, tech billionaire Elon Musk announced early Sunday that he would be reinstating the far-right conspiracy theorist Alex Jones' account on X, the platform previously known as Twitter. Musk, the owner of X, asked users in an informal poll Saturday whether he should reinstate Jones' account on the platform. The poll showed that 70% of respondents were in favor of the move, which comes about 5 years after he was permanently banned from the platform for abusive behavior. The people have spoken, and so it shall be, Musk wrote on his X alongside the poll results. It appears that Jones' account is back online as of Sunday afternoon. And for that, I have to say, okay, he's back. I was against him being censored and deplatformed. That doesn't mean I agree with him, but I'm glad he's back. And I'll tell you why. Because people need to start facing things. And people need to come to terms with the fact that deplatforming and censorship doesn't work. If somebody wants to be vocal and speak out, then they will. And when people started coming after Donald Trump, trying to censor and silence him, you think that stopped him? No. And now he's back. Anytime the media tries to censor somebody like Trump or anybody else, they just keep coming back. And all of you have a right to speak out too. All of you have a voice. The idea of having institutions or the government censor people, that's not how a republic or a democracy should work. And I get it. Alex Jones triggers people. But that doesn't give people the right to then start implementing policies of deplatforming and censorship. Look what they try to do to Tucker Carlson. You had AOC smugly, a politician, saying deplatforming works and laughing about it with her followers. I get it. She has that right to say that. However, no, deplatforming doesn't work. And what happened to Tucker Carlson? He's now back on X, and he has a very successful show on that platform, and Fox News is still reeling from their decision to let him go. Deplatforming doesn't work, especially if you believe in your message and you believe in free speech. Years before Musk purchased the platform, Twitter, now called X, permanently banned Jones and the InfoWars account from the platform in 2018 for violating its abusive behavior policy. The ban came after the platform received criticism for not taking action against Jones earlier, with many groups citing his conspiracy theories and hate speech as a reason to ban him. I get that the internet mob is out there, and I get that there are people who want to say, cancel, cancel, cancel. If that's all what you have, then I can't take you seriously. I can't view you as a reasonable person. Now, we all know one of the things that, and I have to be careful because of YouTube guidelines, that's an eggshell, but I think we all see the paragraph that I highlighted here in which Jones made a comment about a horrific shooting that took place in 2012. Now, he is back because since then, he has been still doing his show. And while this is something that Jones has said, I know that there are many family members out there that are upset that he has returned back to the platform. But when you have the need to try and deplatform somebody and thinking that they're going to be stopped or that it's going to work, it doesn't. It never works that way. Now, Musk did say that he was not interested in reinstating Jones to the platform, suggesting that the reason was because of his conspiracy theory. Musk went on to say, "My firstborn child died in my arms. I felt his last heartbeat," Musk said. And when you would reinstate and asked if he would reinstate Jones' account last year, he said, "I have no mercy for anyone who would use the deaths of children to gain politics or fame." Now, there was a whole video and entire event that took place on X, and I want to pull this up here just for a little bit, in which Elon Musk did interview and have a whole live stream speaking to Alex Jones. So I just want to share this with all of you, and I will be posting the link, the full link, so all of you can hear it for yourselves in its full entirety. So that way you can hear it for yourselves and listen to it. It's about over an hour long. I think an hour, maybe 2 hours long. And the fact that now we have this video that can be played, I encourage everyone to at least listen to it, to at least get the full story. So first, here, let me just pull this up here so you can see it for yourselves. It's about an hour and 35 minutes. And I'm still concerned overall of what this means for free speech. What lies in store for a lot of us. Now, if you have a huge name, more or less, you're going to be protected. You're going to be A-okay. But for a lot of us out there on social media, it's still a landmine. It's still an area in which people have to be careful what they say. They have to be careful what they post. And we're seeing it firsthand when activists or organizers, or yes, even progressive politicians or libertarian politicians or independent candidates are trying to, get their name out there. The traffic isn't coming to them. It's not a level playing field. It should be, but it's not. I don't know whether to view this as a big win for free speech, but we here at Hard Lens Media did ask this poll. Because I can't predict the future. None of us can. It's not right. It's not in my power to dictate how this will all play out. But when I asked our audience this question about the future, and what it means to see somebody like Alex Jones back. You, the audience, weighed in. So let me go ahead and share this with all of you. We went on to ask, what are your thoughts of Elon Musk reinstating Alex Jones' account? 45% out of 1,600 votes, and I do hope more people will participate. Outstanding news. I stand and support free speech. 45%. I am not a fan of Alex Jones, but I support free speech. 40%. No, we need more censorship and deplatforming works. 2%. I wish that number was lower. People who I don't care, 8%, and deep dish pizza, 5%. Someday deep dish pizza will win. But it's now set in stone. Alex Jones has been reinstated. So I want to ask you, the viewing audience participating, what are your thoughts of Alex Jones returning back onto X, Twitter? Do you think it's going to turn Twitter into this crazy nightmare world because you have many people in the liberal sphere saying, oh, this is the end. How can he come back? Oh, Twitter's going to be such a vile place. Everyone wants to leave. And, you know, even then, and it's a little bit of an unrelated subject too, but I'm seeing all these celebrities now coming out in regards to Donald Trump saying, oh, if Trump wins re-election, I'm leaving America. Number one, I don't care if there are Hollywood people saying they want to leave America because Trump gets reelected. And I get it that people are afraid of, oh, what would happen on social media? Oh, Alex Jones is back. It's going to become worse. No. X, Twitter, all of social media. I'm going to say this again for the people in the background. All of social media is a cesspool. Don't let it consume you. Some of the things you see on social media, at least half of it is fake, okay? Or either that it's being exaggerated. I would suggest to everyone, touch grass. The world is going to still keep on moving around. Oh, what? Alex Jones is back on X? That's not a big deal. The world still circles around the sun, and tomorrow is right around the corner. You got to live with it, okay? You can't let other people live rent-free in your head. And if people upset you that much, then do everything in your power just to ignore it. Block it. But censorship and deplatforming, what will happen if you're on board with that camp, get ready for that Uno reverse card to be put on you, because someday somebody will try and silence you and your speech. And there'll be no one left to defend you. Censorship never works. Deplatforming never works. And it's done. It's over. My personal opinion, he's back. What's in store for tomorrow? So how should we end this segment? Talking about Alex Jones? Well, let's at least have him share us his thoughts on, well, energy. I know.
People feel like they're at war.
I think when you jump to the next level, there's an even bigger war going on.
What's the biggest war?
Psychological stuff. No one knows the truth because it's virtual reality once you get to that level. So no one knows.
Seems to be like a universal struggle.
It's all mind war.
I wanted people to be able to see it.
I just don't think people are ready for it.
Well, sure.
The third dimension is just this empty wasteland. Above it and below it is all this incredibly complex stuff, but our brains tune all of it out because we can't handle it.
It's almost like there's too many things happening.
People go nuts.
For people who are not thinking the way you're thinking, it can be exhausting.
And the truth is, no energy is ever destroyed. It all continues on.
You were telling me that it fucks with your head. The certain amount of it, after a while, it just fucks with your head.
That's why I'm usually kind of like almost autistic, is I'm just being constantly.
Why?
Because lower entities will come in.
This is probably the most reasonable gray night in 40K history.
And violate your free will.
They know all your bullshit. They see right through you.
They will not manipulate your free will unless you ask them in.
I have.
Dude, do not say that. I'm going to get killed.
I've 100% communicated with something.
I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, Be careful.
The question is whether that something was actually in my imagination or in my mind, or that something was something that takes place in another dimension.
Once you open that gate, it's all bad.
Why is it all bad? Why can't you experience that interdimensional being and learn something from it and be a better person when you come out of it?
Because every time it gets control, it starts murdering everybody.
They wind up killing everybody.
In every case. And it always starts beautiful. It always starts great.
Problem is, some of it makes sense.
That's where the psychosis comes in.
Whoa.
It's going to create a giant societal crisis where most of the people are already going to get killed because an evil force wants conflict. So I'm saying, no.
It's all chaos.
Stop it.
This is the
All right, folks. All right. It's done. It's over. He's back. Maybe, I don't know. 2024 will be more entertaining. I'll let you decide. But as we end this show, I want to thank all of you so much for tuning in. There will not be a show tomorrow. Much apologies, but I will be back Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central sharp. So stay tuned to Hard Lens Media. We are live on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, and Kick. I know this is a shorter than normal show. Much apologies. It's just, folks, I got a lot of stuff to work on and so little time. So until then, take good care of yourselves and each other. Be sure to drink a lot of water, of course. Keep your heads on a swivel. Start your morning right and righteously angry with Hard Lens Media. So pour some whiskey in your coffee, grab a mimosa, smoke a bowl, do some shrooms, chew on some cocoa leaves, whatever you need to do to get you through this Monday morning. I hope all of you had a great weekend. And if you're going to work, be safe. If you're coming home from work, be safe. And if it's your day off, dance off, pants off to you. We got some music by Jesse Jett. Take good care of yourselves, folks. My name is Kit. Peace, take care, and I am up out of here, and I hope I made your Monday morning a little bright.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to say. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe?
Fresh off the masses, the brand new cancerous growth, who has come here to vie for your vote. Come here to cry at the camps and to mourn at the shore for the bodies that float by the wreck of an immigrant boat. Then it's back to their luxury home, couple security booths and a moat. Couple cigars, little escargot, little booze and a soak. Just breathe in the steam and the smoke. Pink salt, lavender, candles are low. Shit, when you do what you do, gotta lighten the load. And he got a life of his own that's a sight to behold. And it's a lot to control, to decipher the code, or to siphon the soul. The cost of a good night's sleep for the working elite is a bargain, no matter the toll. Worth any wager, and that comes straight from the mouth of the means to the goal that will swallow us whole. Right for the picking if you don't mind mold, and you know I don't. Maybe we're pleasantly prone, maybe we're taking a licking, compliantly ticking and ticking and ticking, but never explode. No, I don't deliver the prettiest image, but damn if it isn't an accurate vision of natural fission, of rage at the system and abject heartbreak, patiently waiting for any who will listen. That little blue bird who was watching your words is a federal carrier pigeon, a Langley first. It's a patient observer who hears what it wants and is trained for the worst. Oh, you got nothing to hide. They'll be the ones to decide that after they root through your purse, after they read all your text, after they raid your apartment, confiscate all of its contents, then conjure up evidence out of the air on a wing and a prayer and malicious intelligence nonsense. Any presumption of innocence long since gone, right along with your comforts and constants. Historically first they will come for the communists. So why in the fuck would I say I'm a communist? Well, it might be I love my community more than the monsters of opulence who are holding us hostage, who are vomiting promises. Might be I'm all done seeing our pensions and benefits harvested. Might be I'm all done watching the populace being disarmed in the guise of an armistice. Watching a woman collapse on the floor who will rise no more. She's wheeled out the door and you're next in line for the pharmacist. If you can get me to vote, it's a hard no confidence. But part of the charm of deception is politics wearing the mask of incompetence. It's all in the art of austerity, darling. It's all in the slide of the providence. Until home is as wide as your cubicle height and is only as deep as your coffin is. Maybe I'm miles away from impatience, aching to break off the head of the snake where the capital lust, reptile brain, and the margin of profit is. Like off with his. Like off with his.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe?
There's some nonsense going on.
I want to talk about human-animal hybrids and humanoids.
What?
They're creating human-animal hybrids that are a new creature, never here on Earth. It's alien. So the aliens are already here.
I'm so baffled.
And the Earth is seen as like an egg yolk to give the propulsion power for this new thing that's going to be born.
We're saying so many things. This is, listen, I love you to death, but you say
I bet you
so
$10
many
million
different
humanoids
things.
are real.
I believe they are.
They had spiders that produce body armor, spider guts.
I believe you.
Joe.
Yes.
They have human-animal hybrids.
Okay.
They've got giant human tissue farms.
I believe it's true.
I mean, I'm worried about human-pig hybrids. I mean, this has been going on for years.
How many people would have to be involved for that to be real?
That's all there is, dude. It's a cult, man.
What were they trying to do?
They're making their move right now.
Who's they?
The globalist programmers who believe with the off-world entities they're in communication with that they're going to be given the operation to upload and be in that larger kind of Borg cube system.
Okay, hit the brakes.
If they sell the country out.
You got to hit the brakes. You're legitimately freaking me the fuck out.
They only put soulless people in charge who are compartmentalized. Nobody else knows who will carry this out.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
That's what I'm telling you is this is hiding in plain view. And that's why it's so crazy. Imagine if you knew all this, you're trying to tell people.
What's interesting is how many people resist the idea that it's possible for someone to try to control everybody.
That's it right there. Every time I bring up a fucking subject, you know all about it.
I don't know all about
this. You
fucking
know all about this shit.
I don't know all about
bullshit. You're a smart guy.
Listen, I don't know about this human hybrid
Joe's just dumb. Joe just is a pot. Bullshit. You know exactly what you're. I don't think you're a bad guy. You're trying to survive for you and your family and do good.
Okay, but
your family, none of us are going to make it. There's a post-human era coming. The breakaway civilization. The deal's been made.
This is inevitable. They're going to do it anyway.